Okay, I think I'm live over here and I'm live over on Facebook too, so I'm going to go ahead and get started while people hop on. If you are new around these parts, hello, my name is Ashlyn Carter. I'm a copywriter for creative entrepreneurs as well as a calligrapher, and each Thursday I do a Facebook Live and Instagram Live, which then goes over to the YouTube channel to be just a free mini training for you about something that you could maybe tweak and write a little bit better in your creative business. Hi everyone! Great, there's some friends hopping on. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this, and I apologize for starting a few minutes late. You should just see my setup over here, but we had a wine spillage because yes, I'm using a wine bottle to prop up my camera. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into today. So some of you know, but my background as far as media and marketing, I studied public relations in college and then went on to work in agency, and then from there went on to be a publicist. And all this time I was doing calligraphy as kind of like my moonlight job in the back pocket. So I know what it's like to run a creative small business, and now I'm full-time with calligraphy and then copywriting, which is another side of marketing. So I want to break down a few things today, but mainly I want to talk to you about pitching your business for different media opportunities that may be out there, because you may be interested in securing a guest post or a podcast interview, or maybe even landing something bigger like a magazine opportunity for different media publications that are out there, like a Southern Living Roundup around the holidays for your print shop or your mug shop or whatever it is. So that's what I want to talk to you about today, because I know it's a little bit scary to pitch yourself to the media. So first, I want to tell you kind of like my heart on pitching, and then I'm going to dive into some strategic things that you can do, talk to you about a template walkthrough that you can use in your own business, and I want to give you my tracker that I use in my own business. So you can go ahead and grab that now. If today is a little bit much, you can go to bit.ly/AW pitch tracker and you can grab that. So I'm just going to go straight into today's content. The first thing I want to tell you is kind of like my heart on pitching, because I get it. It was so funny. It was so easy for me to pitch clients all day, every day. I was securing things in USA Today, Bon Appetit, Food and Wine, all these different publications, right? It was just, I was like, why is this hard for people? Like, it's so easy. And then I started my own business, and I was like, it's like super awkward to pitch yourself. And so if that is you, give me a little give me some love, give me some hearts. It is really hard to just pitch yourself out to media, and I understand that. But I want to say, I don't want to give you one more to do in your business because you're busy and you've got a lot going on. If you are getting those spots filled and if you are good, then I don't think you need to do media outreach. I'm sincere in that. I think that if this is an opportunity that interests you and you see it as a place where you could grow better in your business and it would help you get those spots that would lead you to making the income that you want to make in your business, then let's go for it. But if you're finding that SEO is just killing the game for you, or if word of mouth referrals are just doing it for you, then don't worry about this, because I don't want to give you one more to do in your business. So I wanted to say that just to kind of throw that out there, because I want us to work from a place of enoughness and a place of rest. I just got off a call with Shanna Skidmore, who is just one of my favorite creatives as far as helping you financially plan, and we had that conversation. So again, if this is not in the cards for you, that's okay. If it is, and if you want it, I'm here to equip you to do a better job at it. So let's talk about what media relations is, what public relations is, because there's marketing and there's PR, and I know there's a lot of different crossover there. So what public relations is the relationship a brand or business has with the publics. So that can be their investors, that can be influencers, that can be different target audiences that they have, but essentially, whereas advertising is paid placements, it's pay to play, right? If you want an ad in a magazine, if you want to advertise on southernweddings.com, if you want an ad in Belong magazine, you pay for that spot. Public relations, on the other hand, is essentially free, because you're just giving the opportunity, asking someone for an opportunity to provide them with some content, and then hoping that you can secure something. So the first thing that I want to give you as far as a tip is you got to have thick skin if you are going to pitch yourself for anything in your business, because you're going to get told no a lot, and that's okay. I think I got told no all the time as a publicist, because you're pitching constantly. You're sending out pitches all the time, all day, every day, and so you're going to get told no a lot. So that's the first thing that I want to remind you, that it's okay if you get told no. If you send something off to Glitter Guide or the Every Girl or whatever, and you just get a that's okay, thanks, but no thanks, not right now. But what I want to talk to you about is how to track that. because you need to have kind of like a dream list in mind, and you need to track every step of the process. So if you go to bit.ly/awpitchtracker, you can grab that and plot through the different pitches that you may send out. So let's talk about how to send a pitch. How do you come up with a story idea? How do you send it off to a journalist or a writer? So the first thing that you need to know when it comes to journalists and how they're looking for stories, and this is what I learned when I was at Southern Living as well as doing some freelance writing, is you want the hook. What is the hook that makes your story different? What is it a holiday coming up that you have something that's just perfect in mind? Do you have a really unique angle or a story? What's different? Because these publications and these media outlets are constantly producing stories and content, and it's not going to be interesting to their readership if it doesn't have a hook. I had a journalism professor that would say, what's the hook you can hang your hat on? So we've got to find something about your story, your product, your print, your photography business that is something that somebody can hang a hat on. So that's the first thing that you need to figure out. The next thing you need to do is start, I'm just going to say it, kind of stalking your journalists that you want to pitch. Journalists still traditionally kind of like Twitter more as an outlet. And so I think like if there's ever somebody that you want, a publication that you want to send a magazine, you need to look up their beat. So who is it for if you are I'm just making things up off the top of my head, a makeup company, who is it at Glitter Guide that constantly writes about makeup? Is there a freelance writer for them? And you can find their name. They just continue to publish these stories. Find her name, Google it, look it up, find what she's up to on Twitter, find what she's up to on Instagram, and start like establishing a relationship. Now make it genuine and make it authentic, but start knowing what she covers, what her interests are. Because a lot of times, especially as a journalist, I would get stories sometimes for different freelance things I was writing that I was like, I've never written about this, I'm not interested in it in the least bit, and I'm probably not going to write about it. So it just hop off, right? So if you're going to send something to a journalist or a writer for any kind of publication, make sure that it is something that they cover regularly, right? So that's one of the things that you want to do. And then you need to send your pitch. And a pitch template basically looks like your subject line, which I would usually try to find some kind of established relationship I have with them. I would compliment them on a story that they just written, or I would say, like, here's an opportunity from you, friend of whomever. Like, finding that relationship can be really important to do. So that's what you want to do for your subject line. And then when you hop into the body of the email message itself, I usually started that, and y'all ask, but I know that there's a bunch of people popping on. If you've got some questions along the way about pitching your brand, or if you want to tell me kind of what your brand is that you're trying to pitch, go for it, and I want to help you out with that. But as far as the body copy of a pitch itself, I always start off by saying, I know you're busy, so I'll make it quick. I think that somebody wrote that to me one time when I was writing some freelance stories, and I really just appreciate, I think people like to be reminded, like, yes, thank you. I do have a life. I'm not just sitting here reading things. So that's one thing that I would want you to do. And then the next thing is go ahead and start breaking into that pitch. The first thing you want to do the second thing you want to do after you introduce yourself and say, like, you're busy, I'll make this quick. Introduce who you are and why you're coming to them. Do you have a mutual friend that connected to you? Had you read their story and you'd actually been there last week and you used their article to help you navigate your way around Charleston? What is the mutual shared relationship there? So that's the second thing you want to do. And then the third thing is explain your credibility. What results have you gotten? Where have you been featured elsewhere? Like, why are you worth their time to listen to? And then after that, you want to give them a story idea, because as a journalist, as a writer, you're constantly having to come up with story ideas. I remember it was like editorial meeting after editorial meeting. What are your July pitches? What are you ready to? What do you want to write about? And it's just like imagine having to do that every single month of your life. And it's a lot. And so these journalists and these writers for different publications, or even these podcast hosts, want better content for their people. So I have a magic word that I want you to use when you get to this part. I want you to use the word partner, because it is a good idea to partner with somebody who is in a media position to deliver great content to their people. So use that word partner. How can I partner with you to give great content to your audience? Now, you're going to want to really know that audience that you're trying to pitch. So I recommend for anybody that's going to pitch a podcast, listen to the first episode of the podcast, because that's usually the time when the host is like most vulnerable, just laying the land about what it is that they want to talk about on their podcast. And that can be a really great place to start if you want to pitch yourself for a podcast. So listen to that, listen to a few more, and then figure out what you have to add. And I always broke this down into three, like traditionally in podcast interviews, I would break it down into three things that I could teach your audience this, I could explain this, and I could explain this. So that was something that was really helpful. And if I was pitching a regular outlet, like a blog or Mrs. Box or something else for a spot, I would give them three content ideas that I could provide them. I've had a great success rate on this and have been complimented a few times lately with my podcast pitches. But I wanted to say to them, like, well, thank you, but this is what I did for, like, I would hope I'm good because, like, this is all I've ever done. So I think there's just, like, some things that you can learn from that. And but yeah, if y'all have any questions about pitching your brand for different businesses, hop in and let me know. But those are the things that I wanted to give you today. Again, that pitch tracker, if you want to start pitching your business for different opportunities, you can grab it at bit.ly/awpitchtracker. I would also remind you that usually magazines work about 3 months in advance, so they're probably getting close to like having Christmas stuff, because that'll go in the November-ish issue, because think about it, the December issue will go to print in November, so they're already pretty much like got that solidified. So always think that like magazines work pretty far out. Publications that have more quick turn, like Huffington Post, Entrepreneur Magazine, freelance.com, things like that have different. Oh, hey Mel, yeah, that's good. Well, let's talk about that. So yeah, magazines are going to pitch a little further out. Online publications pitch closer to time, and then podcasts, I'm seeing they pitch about 2-ish months out. That's just like, I don't even know if that's like correct statistic. That's just what I've been seeing in my business as I pitch myself. Okay, so let's talk about, I think you could do a great job pitching those because there's very few of them out there. You may want to keep in mind, like, oh, here's an idea for you. So a lot of times I got great success when I was doing pitching for a restaurateur and his, gosh, we went up to 11 restaurants, is I would pitch roundup posts. Now, a roundup post is something journalists love because you get to talk about different things. It's pretty much like a glorified list. So roundup is going to be 10 best hot dogs in Atlanta. And so, like, if I was going to pitch that to a reporter, of course I would find our restaurants in for 3, but the rest of them I would be like, so-and-so has a great one, so-and-so's doing this over at this restaurant, have you heard about this? So, like, kind of this community involvement where I was, you know, not afraid to pitch my competition because they were doing something really good in a certain area. So when it comes to you, felt like maybe you could do a roundup of, like, faith-based products that'll help encourage your prayer life, and pitch that to things like Relevant Magazine, I don't know if Radiant Magazine is still a thing, it was a couple of years ago, Lifeways publications, different things like that. There's probably a lot more magazines. I used to also go to like Barnes & Noble and Books A Million. There's magazines. It's so funny, 2009 happened, a bunch of magazines shuttered. I was working at Southern Living at the time. A magazine shuttered on the floor above me and in the building on the opposite across from me. And I remember I went back and I was like, I'm changing my focus to public relations, not print, because I'm terrified. But then what happened was the media, the print publications splintered and got super, super niche. So Val, what I would say to somebody like you and a bunch of creative entrepreneurs, go to Barnes & Noble, go to Books A Million, grab stacks of magazines, grab you a coffee, and just sit and turn and flip through. Go to the, here's the magazine. Let's look up. So this is called the Massinova Magazine. If this page, you know what I'm talking about? Like this page in the magazine gives you everybody who works there's names and what they do. So I would stalk those people. I used to like go in, find magazines, see different columns and beats that people traditionally publish. Like maybe they always have let's find a column that they have. A note from, well, that's Joanna's column. We don't want to pitch that. Maybe they always have a recipe and you make honey at your home and you sell it in small batches. And so that would be something that you would want to pitch to the recipe editor at a certain magazine. So going in and finding like different, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but going in and finding like what a certain writer's beat is, that's what you call them. A beat would be like sports, entertainment, lifestyle, arts and crafts, like business, whatever their specific niche is, that's their beat that they cover. So trying to figure out like who, and now that a lot of magazines hire freelancers more than having people on staff, you'll have freelancers that write the same beat. I used to always write style for an Atlanta publication. And so like that was what I covered, so I would get pitches from all the different PR people and shops around Atlanta of what they were covering. So like finding out who the go-to girl or guy is at a certain publication and then going after that. Hey Angie, does it differ at all? Ooh, let's talk speaking gigs. So I'm going to say, and I told you this yesterday, Angie, Jessica Rasdahl is like the go-to for figuring out how to pitch speaking. There are a lot of similarities though. I would say if you're interested in speaking, go ahead and start scouting opportunities for you, and keep in mind that these people work really far out, kind of like 6-ish months out as far as planning their speaking opportunities for you to do. So what you're going to want to do there, I'm seeing some hearts. I wonder if that's because hi, okay, good, yay, Molly and Nicolette. I would use the magic word partner. I think I told you that too, Angie, yesterday. Like, how can I partner to give your audience the best experience? Like, and this is all coming, yes, you're trying to promote your business, but like, take a really heartfelt approach to public relations and getting media spots for your business. So when you're pitching to a different speaking opportunity out there, study who are the people that come to their conference, and like genuinely, how could you help them better whatever it is in their life? And giving, having a few packaged ideas. Maybe, again, I think 3 is just a magic number in communications. If people get it, it's simple, it's easy to understand. But having like 3 opportunities, like I could talk about this, I could talk about this, or I could talk about this. And I think also showing with the speaking opportunity that you know there are people, you know what their goals are, you know what content and what value they want to provide. That's the goal of every magazine. That's the goal of every blog and website. They always want to provide a lot of opportunity and good information for their audience. Those are really great questions. Hey, Jess. Did anybody else have any other questions? If not, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But I hope that this was helpful and just primed you again. Like, my heart with this, if you're killing it with SEO or you're killing it with something else in your business, I don't want to give you one more thing. Like, if media relations is not a need in your business, 100% okay. But if it's something that you feel like would help your sales, or you want to progress to a place where you're able to have more passive streams make income so you can rest for a little while, then maybe media would be a good idea. Oh, good. Hey, Lena. Is this the Lena I'm talking to later today? It may be. But yeah, okay. Well, I hope this was helpful. I will let y'all go. This is going to go over to the YouTube channel. So if you need to watch this again ever, or need more training on it, it will live there, and you can go to bit.ly/AW Pitch Tracker to grab that pitch tracker, which is pretty much replicated from the one that I used back in PR firm days. So you're welcome, Angie. I hope that was helpful, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.